Hi everyone, welcome to week 2 of your Advanced Computers 3 course. This week we're going to be covering chapters 3 and 4 in the Access section of your textbook. The first chapter, chapter 3, is all about performing queries. And basically what this means is, the whole reason behind having these database capabilities is to be able to get information out and do something with it. So you can have all the information in the world inside a database, but if you don't know how to get it out and do something with it, it's not going to be useful. So that's what this chapter is all about, performing queries. And so what we mean about a query is asking it a question. In other words, asking for certain information to come out of the data. So we're going to be able to extract or pull out specific data from the table, and that's what this particular chapter is all about. So we're going to ask ourselves, what kind of questions do we want to do, or do we want to have happen with our data? And then we're going to learn how to create that question or query. So this is going to walk you through step by step how to do that. Now there's a couple of ways to do that. We're going to learn about how to design your own query. And then we're also going to be using a simple query wizard that has some things in there already that we can just pre-made things that we can use. So it's going to walk you through step by step. So the first one we're going to look at is how to actually create your own. So we're going to click and we're going to go to the Query Design tab. Once we click on that, it's going to give us some dialogue. It's going to give us some information about what exactly we can pick. So we can pick anything from this particular list to choose. Okay, so we're going to pick the table that we want to do this query on. Once we do that, then we're going to start creating what information we want to pull out of it. So we're going to ask ourselves, well, what information in the table do we want to look at? So that's what they're talking about here when they talk about the field row description. We're going to look at the table and we're going to say, what do I want from it? Do I want the name of a client? Do I want to know what zip code they're all in? Do I want to know what they've purchased in the past? What kind of information from that table do I want to pull out? And then once we insert that information, then we're able to run that query. And when we do that, running that query, we're going to get back whatever we asked for. So when we say we're going to return something, returning is the results. So what we're going to get when we actually perform the query. So this is just kind of going through and talking about all the steps that you need to do that when you're doing it yourself. So you want to make sure that you're kind of thinking about it before you set up your query, what exactly you're wanting to get out. So, you can do things like getting just a simple return. I want this information and it'll bring you back that. Or you can see that there's other things you can do. You can put in things like the or term, which allows you to get one or the other, or you can come back with anything that is not something, so in this case not Smith, and then notice this use of the asterisk. The asterisk lets you do what we call a wildcard, so anything that starts with an S and has anything else at the end. Or if we put the asterisk first, it means it would end with an S. And an S is just an example of what we could use. But you could use any type of characters and then use the wildcard either before or after those characters when you're creating your query. So, there's several different things that you can do. And here's another one that gives you different ideas of how you can put your arms around the query. What exactly are you looking for? And these are just different things that will, different criteria that you can use to do that. And then the next thing you're going to learn in this particular chapter is how to set up and use the wizard. So rather than doing your own, how can you use a wizard to perform a query? So that's what this chapter is all about. The second chapter that you're going to be covering this week is going to be chapter 4. And chapter 4 is all about creating and modifying tables. Again, you can't do any of this querying if you don't have information in tables. So what this is going to do is going to help you create a table and how to make sure that you set it up with the information that you want. So making sure that you have the right fields and that you can do specific things with those fields. For example, maybe you want a field to only contain telephone numbers or zip codes or social security numbers. You can actually set that field to only have that kind of information in it and only accept that kind of data. So a lot of great information this week. As you go through, if you have any questions at all, please make sure you reach out to me, and have a great week.